Alright, good evening everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Steve, and we are doing a video ritual demonstration this evening. I've already recorded it earlier this evening, and this happens to be my fifth time trying to record the commentary section. Apparently, the last four times for the voiceover didn't record, so I just decided to go this route. So, as I'm sure you can tell, I'm probably filled with angst right about now because I've been trying to film this portion for the last 5 hours, give or take. So, um, it's been a number of weeks since I've done my last video, and I do apologize about that. Lots of things happening here. I recently completed reading a book. I've had a group come to me recently and ask me to do a review on one of their materials or one of their books, which I've completed reading about 3 or 4 days ago, actually. And I haven't quite finished my due diligence on it yet. I'm still looking to practice out of the book and test a few things. Um, they do have a very interesting evocation process that I'd like to go ahead and test out. Um, and before I go ahead and do a review on the book, um, I'm not ready to identify the book or its content at this point in time. So you will just have to be patient, and that will be presented um, when I'm ready to do a review on it. Um, with that said, I appreciate you coming back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you did subscribe. There should be a small icon here that says subscribe below this right hand portion of the screen there. If you do select that, you will join my list, and anytime I put out any new content to my channel, you will receive a email alert letting you know that I have new content up, and you'll be able to go and review that information when it becomes available. If you do like this video, I do hope that you would give it a thumbs up, obviously. The more thumbs up I get and the more comments I get, the more YouTube does share the video with others. And if you feel that another person can benefit from this video, I do encourage you to share that as well, and I would appreciate it. Okay, so what are we doing? We're doing I did a ritual demonstration earlier for the full evocation process, which is the third ritual in the Demons of Magick book by Gordon Winterfield. I've already done that, and that will follow this commentary. So, in this commentary, I'm pretty much just going to kind of like walk through the ritual process, mention a few things to you throughout the process, and focus on a number of key issues. And I know normally when I do like a commentary with a ritual demonstration, I'm usually kind of performing the ritual and giving commentary, and then I usually do the ritual afterwards once through without commentary. But I thought I would do things a little bit differently tonight. Um, just to let you know, I will not be doing a ritual demonstration for the second evocation or the connective evocation, simply because there's there's a greater amount of difference between the first and the third evocation process, but not so much between the second and the third. So I just want to contrast the first and the third there, since I've already done the first evocation process, and I've walked through that before already. This should kind of give you a better idea if you're missing information or you're missing steps, you're not getting like some results that you want. Um, Hopefully, this demonstration and the commentary will kind of clear that up and kind of answer some questions for you. All right. So, with that, you do need to make sure that you do have the book, or whether it's a physical copy of Demons of Magic by Gordon Winterfield, or you do need to have the ebook version, or a physical copy. You are going to need access to two sigils in the book. The first sigil is a sigil that is used. It's similar to the one found in Magical Attack by Gordon Winterfield, which is outlined in the Ritual to Wield Power. Okay, it's an image of two black circles, one black circle inside of another black circle with some Hebrew lettering around it. You are going to need that sigil for ritual opening, the ritual opening process. Um, After you do the Kabbalistic cross there in the beginning. And then obviously you're going to need a copy of the sigil for the demon that you're going to be making contact with. Um, in this particular process, I have chosen Belial for the demon that we're going to be focusing on. So everything that I have in my notes is focused on Belial. Okay. Um, Other than that, I can't think of too much more I need to mention at this point. The reason why I chose Belial is I was looking for a to be provided with a good familiar spirit for my magical needs and purposes. If you do review the book, the information content on Belial by Gordon Winterfield, he really doesn't mention that particular power for Belial. But this is usually why I recommend that you have at least the Goetia has like been like probably the most widely um, published grimoire out there, like throughout like all of freaking eternity. It would seem that there are so many different copies, and so many different authors have gotten like different translations for things and whatnot, that it's understandable that some authors are going to leave some information out and whatnot. But that is one of his abilities. He does provide do good good familiars for a magician, if they do ask for it. Also, if you happen to have legal issues, Belial is also very good for legal issues. So do go ahead and keep that in mind in case if you um, need to have something taken care of legally. Okay, so give me just one moment. I'm going to grab something really quick here. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into that commentary there. Okay. Okay, so make sure you have that sigil in front of you for that is used to wield power there, and you're going to be facing north in this process. The first angel you're going to call is Oriel, and Oriel is in the element of earth, which is in north, and the color green. So you want to make sure that you're visualizing the either a growing forest or greenery, something like that, that would represent Oriel. Okay. Right now we're just doing the Kabbalistic cross, beginning our ritual. You always want to make sure that you perform the ritual opening before you do the core ritual when you're doing the full evocation. All right. Um, Excuse me. The next one is at my back is Raphael, and Raphael is associated with the element of air. And in this case, Raphael is in the south. Okay, and this is where kind of Gordon Winterfield um, kind of switches the element of air and the element of fire. Normally, people associate the south with fire and the east with air. Um, I guess at one point it used to be air in the south and fire in the east, and then it got switched around. It just depends what you're comfortable with. If you just want to go ahead and follow the process as outlined in the book, that's totally fine. Okay, um, and and part of that process may simply be because when you're calling on the Kabbalistic cross, Michael is generally standing at your right hand side, and that might be the reason for that. But if you want to go ahead and switch those around as well and see what type of um, results you get from that. Sorry, I had a brain fart there with the word I was looking for. That's totally fine. Go ahead and you could go ahead and try that out. It's experimentation, obviously. So with Raphael in the south and the element of air, the colors there are blue and yellow. Make sure you're doing your visualization there. Okay. And then, of course, you're going to call out on my right is Michael and the element of fire. Again, the colors there are red and green. And then in the west, you call out for Gavriel, who is the element of water, and the colors there are blue and orange. Okay. Finally, you call down Metatron from above, and once you've done that, you want to go ahead and contrast. Imagine your moment of birth, imagine your uh, moment of death, and then contrast those two feelings um, with where you are currently between the sensations of creation and destruction, and then you're basically going to finish up with the original opening at that point, which begins with EA Asher, EA, I am that I am, I will be what I will be, and then continue on with the rest of that evocation. Once you're done with that, you want to go ahead and move into the ritual opening process. I'm sorry, the core ritual. Yeah, I do apologize, folks, if I seem like I'm a little bit wired right now. It's probably because I've had like 3 monster coffee drinks like in the last 5 hours. So just kind of bear with me. All right. So we are going to at this point move forward, and we are connecting with the Shem Angel for this part of the process. So you want to make sure that you have the sigil in front of you for the appropriate demon that you are wanting to make contact with. Again, we chose in my instance I chose Belial. Okay, so you want to scan the letters around in the black area, the black circle around the sigil there, with the white Hebrew letters. Scan that, taking all the letters and the shapes. One time is sufficient, but if you want to do 2 or 3 times, that's totally fine. Um, Once you finish, you want to focus on the white circle with the black Hebrew letters right in the inside there. Um, okay, the names there or the letters there spell out the angelic emissaries that assist the Shem angel in constraining the demon for the magical operation. Okay, and then in from there you have um, 3 red sigils, or you have red sigils around each side of the triangle. The red sigils are the Shem angels sigil. Okay, for the angel that oversees the process of this evocation. In this case, that angel happens to be um, Kavoel. Okay, Kavoel. And you're going to pronounce that name one time for each of the sigils around the triangle. So you're going to be doing that for 3 times. Once you've mentioned the Shem angel's name 3 times, you want to go ahead and speak the invocation psalm. In this case, it's Psalm 132, verse 13. Once you complete the recitation of the invocation psalm, you then again invoke the Shem angel 3 more times by stating their names. So, Kavoel, Kavoel, Kavoel. Okay, in this case. Um, Once you've completed that, we're going to begin the process of bringing in energy to help us with the rest of the ritual at this point. Okay, and so what you're going to be doing is using words of power to energize yourself in order to bring in the necessary energy to complete the rest of the ritual at this point. Okay. Plus, there's going to be other words of power that are going to be used for specific things, and I'll mention those as we get to them. So the first one that we're going to be using is the word hi ha ri. Okay, hi ha ri. Okay, and I will have that spelling on the screen and that pronunciation on the screen so that you have a better idea how that's pronounced. But just in case, just so you know that when you are pronouncing it, it should sound like you are saying the word safari, okay, but obviously with an H, okay. Now the purpose of using this word of power um, is to is that it confers power to you directly without having to necessarily call upon an angel or another divine name for that. And that's the main purpose of this. Okay, you want to go ahead and use this word of power for up to 5 minutes. Okay, it doesn't mean you need to do it for a total of 5 minutes. Okay, obviously, if you um, follow the process and say 2 minutes later or 2 minutes into it or whatever, you feel that shift in consciousness in order, then that's fine. Once you feel that shift in consciousness, move on with the rest of the ritual at that point. Okay, if it's 3 minutes in, that's 3 minutes in. Go ahead, you get that shift, and then move on with the rest of the ritual. If after 5 minutes, so you haven't felt that shift or that emotional alchemy or anything like that, like you're supposed to, then just continue on with the rest of the ritual. Don't prolong it any further than that. Okay, there's no need to. Okay. Now, like I said, this is going to kind of like shift your consciousness, and it's not in order to excite you or like put you in a trance or anything. It's just in order to kind of shift that mental consciousness over to the magical operation for things to take place. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to move on to the next 3 words of power. Okay, and these are kind of lengthy, so when you go ahead and pronounce these, you might want to practice these for a little bit before you actually perform a full evocation. Okay, some of these words of power can be kind of lengthy, so you need some breath control when you go ahead and do it. And when you're performing each one of these, they're going to be done for 2 to 3 minutes at a time. Okay, once you've completed that, you've hit that 2 minute mark or that 3 minute mark, you move on to the next one. And there's a particular reason for each one, and I'll get into that. Okay, so the first word of power that we get to is ha v ha. Okay, and again, I will make sure that that is on the screen so you have an idea. Okay, so I'll say that again. Ha v ha. Okay, And the purpose of this is to shift your consciousness um, so that you can perceive um, things more astrally, or you want to shift your consciousness out of the ordinary to the non-ordinary. Okay, so we're looking for think of it kind of like clairvoyance. Okay, is what we're kind of like doing here. We're kind of shifting our consciousness or our sight to a more um, astral version, so that we can witness things, see things more clearly on the astral level. Now, if you do want to develop those skills, I have put a video out a number of weeks back where it does talk about developing those astral skills such as clairvoyance, clairaudience, and stuff like that. Okay, um, definitely go ahead and look into that if that's something that you want to do. Um, there's going to be this is going to be one way that you can like develop that sense. The sense of clairvoyance. Um, Obviously, doing meditations and exercises, that's going to help you. That's going to benefit you. Okay, far greater in the long run. Another way that you develop that astral sense or that their clairvoyance is simply just by doing a lot of evocations. Um, and that's fine if you could do evocations every night, then that's great. Eventually, you'll that will develop um, on its own. But if you put that with other practices, other meditations and whatnot, it'll develop a lot faster. Okay, so after your 2 to 3 minutes, you want to shift on over to the next word of power. Okay, and that is ri ha sha sha ah. Again, that's a lot to take in, so I'll repeat that. Okay, ri ha sha ah. Okay, and the purpose of this word of power is to brighten your spirit. It protects you, but it makes you visible only to the spirit or the entity that you're looking to make contact with. Okay, let me kind of explain that a little bit more. If you're familiar with the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, or the LBRP, for instance, when you practice it, okay, before you do a magical operation, it brightens your spirit so that other spirits can, so that when you're on the astral plane and you're trying to make contact with spirits for evocations or whatever reason for that matter, it makes you more visible. The only problem is that when you're using the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, as opposed to something like this, is that in the LBRP, everything can see you. Okay, and that could be a little bit of a difficulty, because then things that you don't want to attract are kind of coming to you and going like, yeah, I'm the spirit you want to make contact with, and then they're trying to fuck with you, obviously. um, but in this case, what this is doing is it it brightens your spirit, okay, again, so that you're only making contact with the one that you want. Everything else, they're not going to see you. You're kind of invisible to them. So make sure that you don't discount using this word of power, okay? Okay, and then once you've done that for 2 to 3 minutes, shift your chant over to the final one, which is ha ha ah di ha. Okay, ha ha ah di ha, which is basically it just removes the spiritual blinders from our vision, so again that we can again see astral beings a little more easily than with our vision, with our eyes. Okay, once you've done that and you've sufficiently charged yourself, you've illuminated your spirit, you've taken care of all the necessary steps. At this point, we're looking to make contact with the demon at this point. Okay, and in this case, we're looking to contact Belial. Now, I'm going to give you a little negative information here. If you want to go ahead and use it, you can go ahead and use it. When I did the video, I followed through with just the way that it's outlined in the book. Okay, in the book, it just tells you to start calling the spirit by their name. So in this case, you would say Belial, give a little bit of pause, Belial. You're kind of enticing them in at this point, getting to notice you and come and investigate as to why you're calling them at this point. Okay. Um, okay. Now, by a left-hand path perspective, if you wanted to shorten this process here, because normally you would call them and then perform the evocation key and then call them again, and then you have your invocation where you're calling in the divine names and the angels and whatnot before you're making final contact with the demon. There is a little negative information I'll give you, and again by a left-hand path perspective, and that is to use demonic ends, which you don't have to. Okay, again, I would urge you to first practice it, practice the full evocation by the way that the book shows. Okay, um, and you're probably asking now you're probably thinking well, why the fuck did you tell me about this if you're telling me to just go ahead and practice it the way it says in the book? Well, again, it's all about just sharing information. Okay, you can shorten this process by using demonic end. In this case, Belial. If you're wanting to make contact with Belial, the demonic end is Larak Tasa Vifa Welk Belial. Okay, and I'll put that up on the screen. That's okay. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about demonic ends, let's say you're not a left-hand path practitioner, but you want to know a little bit more about them, I'll provide you with the website for that. Okay, demonology.org. It is a site that is um, managed by people like Stephanie Connolly and a few other left-hand path practitioners. Um, you can check it out. And the wonderful thing about demonic ends is that it really connects you directly with that entity. Like it connects you quickly with them. Okay, you don't have to fuck around with evocation keys and whatnot. Um, but again, for the purpose of this commentary, we're going through. So you're calling out the demon. Okay. Um, Perform the evocation key for that particular demon. Okay, and make sure that you review that process on how to use evocation keys, because that's going to be a critical step if you follow this process in order to help make your connection with them. Okay, and then you're going to call them out again 3 more times. Okay, once you've done that, after the evocation keys, you call them 3 more times. You do your invocation. Okay, in the name of El Elohim Adonai Ea Asher Ea. Okay, you're going to finish the rest of the divine names at that point. Okay, then inside of that invocation it says, and by the power of. Okay, that first empty space is where the Shem angel's name goes. Okay, in this case again it's Kavael. Okay, and then you have 3 blank spaces, and those are for each of the angelic emissaries that assist the Shem angel in the process. And then the invocation finishes out with, I call on the, in this case we're calling on Belial. Okay, I call on the Belial. Okay. Now, when you're doing this, when you're performing the evocation wherever you're at, okay, make sure that you're facing, if you're facing a wall, there's nothing on the wall. Okay, you don't want to have things in your line of sight that are going to distract you from making contact. Okay, and again, sharing information with you at this point, this is where most people, people that do traditional evocations, are actually going to have other tools to make contact with the demon at that point. Okay, so for instance, a black mirror that is often used for scrying um, is sorry. Okay, a black mirror is often used for something like this. So if you don't have one, that's fine. Okay, we're not. I'm not saying you need to go out and buy one. I'm not saying you need to make one or anything like that. But just to let you know, a black mirror is often used when doing evocations of stuff like this, full evocations. Um, the other option is just use a regular mirror, and you can do that as well. And that process is actually outlined in the book, The Ars Goetia, which is a Black Magician's Companion Guide by Orly Stewart. Okay, this she is one of many authors from BecomeALivingGod.co. Um, this is one of I think one her actual only book, if I'm not mistaken, that she's published. Um, but Orly Stewart is she does come up from a Jewish background. She does use the process similar to this, which is a very Judeo-Christian process for working with the Goetia spirits, which is what Gordon Winterfield is basically doing here. With all the divine names and using angels and whatnot for constraining purposes. Um, if you want a little bit more, if you want a little more view into that process, I definitely recommend this book. You can get this off of Amazon.com. I think it's like $22 or $27. Um, again, Bulk.co has it. I'll try to be sure to put their address down below so you can check it out. If you go to Bulk.co though, um, they don't have paperback versions like this. They're like more like hardbound versions, cloth versions, leather bound versions, and they're going to be way more expensive. Okay, just to let you know. Okay, you're probably going to be looking at spending like $100 for one of those books, as opposed to say buying, like say through Amazon. But if that's what you want to do, then I'm not going to stop you. Um, so again, the way that the process she does it is by drawing the sigil on a regular mirror, and then using a regular mirror for that process again, which is outlined in the book. I'm not going to get into that whole process there. Um, but if you want to find out more about it, go ahead and get her book. Um, and then of course you have your other options, burning a lot of incense or having fire available, like a fire pit or a candle or something like that. You're going to see that when I perform the demonstration, I'm burning a lot of frankincense, like incense sticks, um, for the process. Plus, I have a candle on my altar top there. Um, People that black magicians that use fire pits, it's available to them. They live rurally somewhere where they can go ahead and do that. They can do stuff like this outdoors and not get bothered by it. Um, that's always great, but obviously if we don't have if you don't have something like that, have access to something like that, that could be a little difficult. So just to let you know that those are generally the methods in which spirits come through when you're looking at a physical full evocation. Okay. Um, Most people, especially in their beginning, when they're beginning with like a full evocation or they want to do a full evocation process, you're not going to experience the demon, physically, as if I was standing in front of you or something like that. Okay, it's usually going to be it's like some type of presence. Atmospheric shift. You're gonna have rise in air pressure or a decline in air pressure in the room, or you're gonna have excuse me, like I usually have sensations on the back side of my head and on the right side of the left side of my head when I'm dealing with a demon, as opposed to right side when I'm dealing with an angel. Or there's going to be temperature shifts in the room, stuff like that, smells, uh, other sensations. Those are all going to be indications that the demon has shown up. They're there. They're present. They're aware of you. And then you need to continue on with the evocation process at that point. Okay, so not to get off track. So again, repeat the demon's name at that point. I call on you, Belial. Bring them. Continue to call them in, and I call on you, Belial. Once you get a physical sensation that they're there, either through like air pressure change or um, smells or anything like that, go ahead and give them the command. I call on you, Belial, to appear before me in a fair and comely form. Okay. Now, most of them are going to, appear to you. If they do appear physically, they are going to take on the form of a human form, mostly. Um, when they're generally making interaction with us, and every once in a while you might find one that doesn't, but you just give them the command at that point, and it's usually it's not a problem. You don't run into too many Goetia spirits that are unruly. Every once in a while, you're going to find one that just doesn't want to work with you, either because your energies just clash, or one reason or another, or you haven't developed something up to that point, or it could be just like a status situation where it's like they're a king, a king status or something like that, and you're calling on them, and they're like, dude, like, why the fuck are you bothering me? Um, just kind of go on with it. Okay. Once you make that contact, um, this is usually the point. This is about the point where Gordon Winterfield mentions that you offer up an offering to the demon. Okay. You say, hey, if you do this for me, I'm going to go ahead and give you this offering. Blah blah blah. Okay, and then you finish out the ritual, and then once the demon fulfills their end of the bargain, you're supposed to give them the offering. Okay, you end up doing like another a follow up ritual. You give them the offering, and then you're good to go, and they're good to go. This is where my idea of the ritual differs from Gordon Winterfield's. Okay, now of course when I perform the ritual, I kind of went through with as it said in the book. Of course, I did my offering from the very beginning, and this is where, again, my idea and the idea of a left hand path practitioner, as opposed to someone who's using like a Judeo-Christian, um, method in the process, is that when you're approaching them through a Judeo-Christian mentality, it's like you're forcing them to do it. Okay, you're commanding them to do it because you're showing your authority towards them. Okay, it's like taking a piece of cheese and holding a piece of cheese and saying, to your dog and saying, "Come on, come on, Spot, turn around 3 times, and if you do that, I'll give you this piece of cheese." Don't be a fucking dick about it. Okay, um, you know, try to show a little respect. This is the mentality of left hand path practitioners is We view the demons as allies. Okay, the demons are there. They're there to teach us. They're there to help us. And I have actual video that I'm still kind of working on. I was gonna put it out like 2 weeks ago, and then um, on the whole Christianity religion thing, it's kind of hard to explain. But I was gonna go ahead and put it out, and then I read through it and I looked at it and I said, well, shit, I don't have enough information here. I'm not even using like a quarter of everything that I researched. So that video is still on hold at this point. But um, you know, the demons are here to, as they assist us and in our lives and in achieving our ascension and uh, in our illumination and our personal freedom. They ascend as well. They grow as well. So it benefits them to help us. Okay, and when you come by the angle of like they're a fucking dog and that they're there to do tricks for you so that you can get whatever the fuck you want, then it's just very insulting. Okay, so when I did this ritual, I did my blood offering from the beginning. It was off screen. I didn't record it. I drew out a sigil of Belial and I put a blood offering on there, and that's like. And then the other reason is why I burned a lot of frankincense during the ritual is frankincense is incense associated with Belial. Um, so I did that from the beginning. Okay. Plus I made other made other suggestions for offerings at that point, all of which are acceptable. Um, at least for Belial, and I recommend that if you are going to go ahead and give an offering, go ahead and do your research. Okay, as far as what might be appropriate for that particular demon. Okay, not all demons prefer blood offerings. Not all demons want you to you know, jizz on their sigil. Not all demons, like flowers and plants and shit like that. Okay, so go ahead and do your due diligence, um, just like you should. Everyone should be researching. It's not something that ever ends for magical practitioners. We're always reading, we're always researching, we're always looking for the next tidbit of information. It's just the way it goes. Okay. Um, and by all means, when you give an offering to a demon, don't be a dick and take it back. Okay. Don't say, "Oh, hey, I got this like top shelf vodka. I'm going to give it to you," and you pour a glass of vodka and you stick it on their offering altar, or you stick it on your altar and say, hey, go ahead and do this for me. This vodka is going to be yours. Don't pour it, and then 3 hours later you go, well, I really wish I had some vodka. Oh wait, I'm going to go over here and pull this glass of vodka off the altar and drink that. Because when you do something like that, you're being a fucking dick. Okay, don't give something to a demon and then take it back, because I promise you, the more times that you do it, the more times you're going to end up being hard pressed to find a demon or to have that particular demon want to work with you in the future. Okay, and that goes for everything. Okay, if your demon likes apples, you don't stick an apple on the altar, and then come by and take it back and make a fucking pie out of it, for fucking dinner or something like that. Okay, don't do that. Some demons like poetry. Some, if you want to write a piece of poetry for your demon, for the demon that you're working with, that's fine. If you want to read a piece of poetry out of a book, that's fine too. Um, some people will offer, some demons like jewelry. If you're working with a particular demon for over a long period of time, and say you make a piece of jewelry like a necklace or something, or a bracelet, and you want that to be like a permanent offering to them, that's fine. Stick it on their offering altar, and as a sign of respect, and for them working with you, and for them helping you. But don't walk by, go, oh, I gotta go out clubbing tonight. This necklace will look like perfect on me, while I'm out there like dancing on the floor, because again, that's insulting. Um, Now, how long should you leave offering on the altar at that point? Um, 6 hours, 12 hours is actually acceptable. Okay, once you need to clear it off, take it outside somewhere. If you can do it like early morning, or in the evening, like early in the morning, like right before sunrise or during sunrise, something like that, where um, you're still kind of not so conspicuous, then that's fine. Or if you want to do it at nighttime, when it's starting to turn dusk or something like that, you're walking through the park or walking through the forest or whatever. You can stick it by a tree, stick it at the base of a tree, and then that's good. And then walk away, and then nature will take care of it at that point. Um, that that would be fine. So usually 6 to 12 hours, and then get rid of it at that point. Again, appropriately. Don't drink it. Don't eat it. Okay. Um, Once you've done that offering, and you've made your contact, and you're done asking your questions, you're done with whatever you need to do with the demon. Give them the license to depart at that point. Okay. O Spirit of Belial, I hereby license you to depart to your proper place quietly and in peace. VIOA between you and me. Amen. Okay, and then the ritual is done at that point. You close out your book, put your sigil away, put everything away, and then you're done. Um, and that is really the process for doing the full evocation at that point. If you ever find that a demon is unruly, they don't want to listen to you, or for whatever reason, you can give them the command in order to um, be more attentive, if that's the word we're looking for. Okay, and Gordon Winterfield does mention that in the book. Okay, as far as the command for that, um, I haven't experienced too many situations, or even I really haven't experienced any situation where a demon, especially from the Goetia, has been unruly towards me. Um, but I suppose again it's possible. If it's really something that happens a lot, you might want to just reconsider your idea of wanting to work with that demon um, for the time being, or maybe just indefinitely. Again, there are sometimes, like, you know our energies will clash with a particular demon. They just don't want to work with us. It happens. So with that, folks, I think we got it, and hopefully this is actually going to record, because hopefully this has recorded, because I would hate to have to try a sixth time in order to get this information for this video. So with that, folks, again, I do apologize for not getting videos out there regularly these last few weeks. COVID-19's been like a huge thing, and lots of things happening with work and stuff like that. Um, Reading and taking care of a lot of things. Um, I'll make sure that, again, word pronunciations for words of power are in the video, of course, for you to review as necessary. Link to this particular book for Amazon and Balg.co will be in the description below, as well as the address for Balg.co, of course. And if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them below. and I'll look to get those answered in a timely manner. Um, as of right now, I'm, other than the book that I'm reviewing at this point, I'm still doing my personal studies. Each Saturday up to this point, I've been doing a different ritual in with the Awakening Lucifer book by Asenath Mason. So um, things have been progressing with that relatively well. So uh, hopefully it won't be too long before I'm through with that book, and then I'll probably move on with new material for other practices. So that, folks, I bid you a very fond farewell. Peace, good evening, and infernal blessings. Take care to y'all. Bye.
Spirit Belial, as you license you to depart to a proper place.